I have fallen further than I had before. But now I'm crawling, and I don't have the strength to get up off that floor. I'm giving into it, I'm living in it, embracing all the pain. Can't run from it, I can't numb it, I won't medicate. I'm still learning and growing. I am not who I was before. I'm done hiding from all my failures. Wait and see my masterpiece. Bruised and torn, all my broken parts falling like they collide, all to take me where I'm meant to be. So I thank my lucky scars. I thank my lucky scars. If I feel it, if I feel the pain, then I am still alive. And if I'm living, wanna give it all, not simply survive. I'm leaning into it, I'm breathing in it, inhaling all that hurt. 'Cause walking away, it'd all be in vain, and that would hurt much worse. I am not who I was before. I am done hiding from all my failures. Wait and see my masterpiece. Bruised and torn, all my broken parts falling like they collide, all to take me where I'm meant to be. So I thank my lucky stars. I thank my lucky stars. Oh, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm still learning and growing. I've fallen down so much, but hell I showed up. I'm much better off knowing I'm not who I was before. I'm done hiding from all my failures. Wait and see my masterpiece. Bruised and torn, all my broken parts falling like they collide, all to take me where I'm meant to be. So I thank my lucky stars. I thank my lucky stars. I thank my lucky stars. I have fallen further than I had before. But now I'm crawling, and I don't have the strength to get up off that floor. I'm giving into it, I'm living in it, embracing all the pain. Can't run from it, I can't numb it, I won't medicate. I'm still learning and growing. I am not who I was before. I'm done hiding from all my failures.
All right, all right, all right. We are on the live today. We are live and colored, and I believe that you are hearing us. You are doing great, just as we are, and we want to say thank you for joining us right now. We are doing great, and I'm pretty sure you are also doing great right now. And it's a beautiful Sunday, and where we are coming from, it is snowy and cold, and we are freezing, and yet we enjoying it. All right, because wherever you are, you got to enjoy it. You can swap it out for any place other than where you are. All right, so we are happy to be here, and if you are on the live, we want to appreciate you right now, or if you are joining soon, we want you to be appreciated. One more clap right there. My goodness, we are ready to roll. Very ready to roll. I'm pretty sure you are just as we are. So let's take a minute to share the stream. As you are joining, just make sure you click the share button and then share it with other people. I'm gonna do it on the fly as you watch me, and I'm hoping that you will do the same. So let's do that. Let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. Share the stream. Share the stream. Share it. Share it with your friends and your buddies. Yeah. Gifty is sharing. I'm sharing. You sharing. Then we're gonna be doing good by doing that. You know what I'm saying? Share, share, share right now. Click the like button and let's enjoy ourselves together. I'm telling you, we have a well packed show. This show is packed. I'm telling you, it is packed. It is a wonderful show, but it is a packed show. And so we want you to make sure that you are on the live and sharing with somebody. Share with somebody. You know what I'm saying? If you don't share, you are being stingy. You are being difficult. You got to share with somebody also so that they will all enjoy it just like we are. So I'm clicking the share to my Facebook, and I'm pretty sure my folks on YouTube and LinkedIn and wherever you guys are, you are seeing it. Just make sure you click on the share and you also watch it with us. Because, like I said, we have a jammed packed show, very informative show. I want to make sure that we are doing justice to the topic today. All right, all right. So, in the interest of time, we're going to move forward. And as you know, we saying that we've been treating how to overcome poverty, how to overcome poverty in several episodes. This is a series that we are doing. The series is going to wrap up soon. So if you haven't been watching it, we have a huge number of topics that we have discussed on how to overcome poverty using several kinds of strategies: education, skills training, debt management, and believing in your. It's a bunch. So at least I can count 15 to 20 episodes that focused strictly on how to overcome poverty and do better with your finances and your health. Now we are going to shift to a new realm of shows, which is going to be more based on health and our lifestyle. But we want to make sure that we have exhausted everything on this topic. At least we'll be back on this topic again because you guys know that finances are something that is part of our human race. We right now we cannot deal with life without talking about money issues. So we definitely be back, and this is a life and health show. So definitely we'll go back to that. Now,
health goes with wealth, right?
your health goes with wealth. That's the key thing there. That's why I like it when you're on the line. My goodness, your health goes with wealth. So we are going to talk more about health, and we have some health videos already on our channel on Dayspring Life and Health, and we are going to hit back on more health on the live. But for now, we're going to continue in our series, which we talked about managing your debt. But as we do every week, we have a health tip for the week for you. And I'm just going to hit on the video that we posted last week. And on this video, we talked about sources, additional sources of vitamin D. We know vitamin D is good for your health. Well, if you want more details, just go back to the channel and read more about what we said about vitamin D. But we also talked about natural sources of vitamin D. And some of them, for some people, it is not going to be possible for them to get vitamin D that way because one of them is eating fish, and some people cannot eat fish. One of them is eating mushrooms. Some people, no mushrooms, not for them. Some people cannot eat eggs. Egg yolk has vitamin D. Some people cannot do that. And even the natural source from the sun on our skin is also impossible because some people, they are indoors, whether because they are bedridden or their job doesn't allow them to take a walk in the day light and get some sunshine. And so we also gathered a few other sources of vitamin D, and that was what we posted on our last week video. We just want to hit on them quickly for those of you who haven't had chance to watch it, so that at least you got a health tip also. So additional sources of vitamin D include eating fortified food groups that are fortified definitely with vitamin D. And we mentioned some whole milk and some milk products, dairy products that have vitamin D in it. So if the next time you're buying a gallon of fresh milk in the from the fridge, just make sure it says with vitamin D on it, so you can get your vitamin D sources that way. Other times, we can also get vitamin D from some juices. Though we don't encourage people to drink more juices and stuff like that, we still believe that it is good if you are going to be drinking juice. Some people like orange juice. Some orange juices have been fortified with vitamin D. And so if you're going to be drinking juice at all, then definitely make sure your juice you are drinking says with vitamin D on it. And then also other sources that are natural, your cheeses, unnatural, I should say. Yeah, if you eat cheese, because it's a milk product, some cheeses also have vitamin D in it. So it would say fortified with vitamin D. So you can get your vitamin D that way. And the last but not the least source is getting UV lamps in your house so that you get sunlight, artificial sunlight on your skin, and trick your body to behave like it is actually seeing real sunlight, so that it will actually see vitamin D and will actually see the UV light and then make vitamin D that way. So that is another way that you can get vitamin D without the natural sources that may be yucky for some people. No fish for me, no meat, no beef liver, and that kind of stuff. So that is your health tip for the week. As we proceed now, unless you want to add anything. All right, so we are going to go ahead now and hit our topic for today. So, as a quick review, last week we talked about still on the series of getting rid of debt. We talked about using the avalanche method to get rid of your debt, and this week, as well as also using the debt consolidation. So this week, we are heading on a new era of debt management, and that is something that is very important for us. We believe that for most of us, we have to definitely deal with debt, but we don't know how to deal with the debt. We don't know how to do. So we're going to be analyzing some of the things that may make us have debt, and hopefully we can use those skills that we learn from today to not only prevent ourselves from being in debt, but also hopefully teach others to completely have no debt at all. So our topic today, as you can remember from our thing, is debt psychology, understanding why you overspend. This is a huge topic. My goodness, debt psychology. Yes. So that is what it is that we are going to be talking about. We're going to be going through some slides that we have pre-made, which is going to help us to be able to understand the debt psychology. And we are going to zoom right into it now, unless you have anything to say, honey.
Let's go.
Go? All right. So in that case, let's move then. What is debt psychology? What is debt psychology? And you may say that this is a huge word. It is a huge word, but we can definitely talk about what it is. So we are going to talk about what debt psychology is. We are going to talk about some common triggers for debt overspending, some common things that make us overspend. We're also going to talk about what is the link between debt and mental health. Definitely very important. What is the link between debt and mental health? And then we're also going to talk about what is the role of self esteem on financial decision making. The way you spend your money is a link to the way you esteem yourself, either high or low. We're going to discuss that. And then I think that will be the last one, will be the benefits of seeking help. I think that's the last one, the benefits of seeking help. So with those things on the way, now let's talk about what is debt psychology. What is debt psychology? And you want to start?
As is being projected, that psychology is how our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors relate to our financial situation, particularly in regards to debt and overspending. So it's more like how you feel, your feelings, your thoughts, and your behavior.
All right. So that is basically it. She said it all. So when you talk about psychology, we are talking about the real thing in psychology is the mind, right? So how your mind, how you feel, how your thoughts, and how your behaviors relate to the way you spend your money, you know, and how it regards to overspending. Remember, we are talking about debt psychology and why some people overspend. So that is what depth psychology is. Psychology is not that huge of a term to make us scared, but yeah, definitely, it is talking or discussing issues that affect our expenses and the way we use money based on how we think, how we feel, and how it relates to our overall well-being. So that is depth psychology. All right. So now then we will move forward and talk about some of the triggers for overspending. What are some of the triggers for overspending? And the first one we want to talk about is emotional triggers. Some people overspend, and the reason for uh, overspending or getting into debt is emotional. So um, I, I will start, and then unless you want to, yeah. So as we think about getting into debt or overspending, what is the emotional component for people to overspend? What makes people overspend? Some people overspend emotionally. I mean, it's triggered by emotions because they want to feel somewhere. There's some emotional vacuum in their life and they want that to be filled. Or they have some kind of a negative situation in their life and they want to occupy or cover up that particular negative situation in their life. And so because of that, shopping or spending becomes a way out of the way that they can end up spending or overspending. You have anything to add there?
Yeah, so the emotions may include what? Loneliness, or being bored, or being anxious, or being stressed. So maybe somebody will go to work, the person is overworked and tired and stressed from whatever had happened at work. The way that they can get over it is to just hit the stores, go shopping, and go spend the money. So, emotional triggers. So, if you are not able to cope with your stress and your anxiety, your emotions, some people cope with their emotions by using shopping just to cope. So if you have that problem, that's your coping mechanism. If I'm stressed, I'll just go out and shop. And shopping relieves me from my stress, set me free from being stressed or being anxious or being bored. So if that's your coping mechanism, you have to watch out because if you're not careful, you are going to overspend and you're going to be in debt.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. That is definitely very true. So, emotional triggers, because of the way you feel, you decide to fill that vacuum or meet that challenge that is emotionally induced with shopping. Unfortunately, what is happening is you are covering up one problem with another, right? Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Shopping will make you feel good, but then you end up overspending and using the money that you don't have. That leads to additional problems and debt overall. Another emotional trigger may be anxiety. I don't know if you mentioned anxiety. You mentioned loneliness, right? And to be honest with you, this I've seen it myself too. When I was alone without a wife, you know what I'm saying? Without a wife, I tended to shop a lot, you know, because you were alone. You were alone and you don't have anything to entertain you. Not that wives are only entertaining, but you don't have anybody to talk to. So if you hit the shop and you buy, those of us, whether it's a vehicle, a car, or you go for window shopping and you end up being tricked to buying. So loneliness definitely brings emotional trigger. It's an emotional trigger to shopping and overspending. Anxiety also, if you are anxious in life, as a means of covering up that anxiety, you may end up spending what you don't have, and so you overspend. The other thing, I think you mentioned stress. I don't know if you did.
Yeah.
Stress also, and then boredom, being bored. Some people cannot stand being bored. I know my son cannot. And he will be doing his homework and he'll be done, and then daddy, I'm bored, because he wants to always be playing. Now, it plays in our lives as adults too. You cannot be still. You got to be doing something all the time because you feel bored. And then if you stick or use shopping as a means to cover up your being bored, your boredom, then it leads to overspending. So emotional triggers are a huge thing for people who are in serious debt, because they are trying to fulfill or meet some kind of a need that cannot be satisfied in their lives. So they use shopping as a way to get rid of that particular emotional need that they have. All right. So we can go to the next one, unless you want to add it.
Let's go.
All right. So the next one, as a common trigger for overspending, is lack of financial education. Lack of financial education. I don't know if you want to start with that, but you want to start?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So many people don't have financial education, and so they don't know anything to do about how to manage finances. And so if they see something in their account, for them it is ready to be spent. That's why it's in the account, right? It only came because it has to be spent. So lack of financial education will make you spend what you don't have. So emotionally, it's a common trigger for overspending, lack of financial education. You want to add anything?
Financial education, that's huge.
That's huge.
So, like, if you lack this education, it's likely that you don't know how money works. You are not aware of how money works. You underestimate the expenses because you don't really know much about. Maybe you may not for having lack of financial education, you may not even know much about budgeting. You don't know how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. So because you lack this education, it's likely that you are just going to go to store and whatever entices you, you spend money on. Because you are not aware of the money that is coming in and the money that is going out. Because in your mind, there is money in the account,
There's
like
money.
you said. So maybe the big things that you think about is your rent, your mortgage. So you feel like, oh, if I pay my mortgage, it's likely I'll have enough. Forgetting about your gas, forgetting about expenses, forgetting about maybe unexpected thing that may happen, impromptu cases that may happen. Something may happen to your car, something may go wrong in your house. You don't have any idea of all that. All that you know is, oh, I got paid today. And you just start spending money.
You got paid, the money's there.
Yeah,
Why
the
don't
money
you
is there.
spend?
Why don't I go and spend it? Because of the lack of education. So if you know much about, maybe you have a budget that this month I have only, after my expenses, I have only $300 left. Because you are aware of what is left after your expenses, you know that you don't have a lot to overspend. Then you are very cautious on what you spend your money on. So lack of financial education may cause somebody to overspend big time.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Lack of financial education. Lack of financial education. That is why it is important that you stay with this channel. Make sure you watch all the previous videos we've had, because we have dealt a lot into how to overcome, certain things. So we have a lot of financial education, to be short, on the channel. So just go back and look for more after this show. All right. So that is that one, lack of financial education. It also leads to wrong financial decision making. If you don't have financial education, if you are not well versed in the things of finance, you make the wrong decisions in life. You are always making decisions that you regret later on. You decide to buy a vehicle when you could have, not bought a new vehicle. You could have waited. But if you are not educated in finances, if you are not sound with financial education, you make such expenditures that make you in debt. That sends you into debt.
And also not knowing how much your interest rate is on your credit card. Like if you go to the stores and they entice you that, oh, sign up for credit card, because of lack of financial education, it's likely that you are going to sign up forgetting about the rates, the interest rate. But if you know the details, the little bit, how much the money will accumulate over a period of time, because you are learned, because you are aware of whatever they are presenting to you, you can easily say no. But if you lack that education, it's likely that you are going to fall for it, and you are going to spend more than what you have.
All right, all right, all right. So definitely have financial education. Now let's move on to the next one. So we are now treating or talking about some of the common triggers for overspending. So the next one is social pressures. And this one, Gifty have some ideas that make me laugh. Man, it is good. Yeah, social pressures, social pressures. I don't know how many of you have watched a series on TV that is called The Joneses, right? So we're going to talk about what it means. I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably have heard it, but social pressures into overspending. And unless you want to start, I can start. All right, so I will start. So basically, social pressures mean, we talk about when we are talking to our kids and stuff, we say don't do what we call it. Don't be influenced by your friends.
Pressure.
Peer pressure is the word. Don't be influenced by your peers because of what they are doing and stuff like that.
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it, so you're gonna do it. This is the adult form of peer pressure right here. Social pressures. You commit yourself to a particular social group, which basically flies with some kind of an economic stature. So this group you belong to or say professionals who make some amount of money. It may not be professionals, maybe even regular job, but your friends and your neighbors and everybody drives some kind of a car. So you want to drive a similar car. At least if my neighbors have Beamers, maybe at least I should go something close to it, if not a Beamer. Maybe if I don't have a Beamer, I'll get a Mercedes. So you try and stay at par with your neighbors, with your peers. Basically, that is what we mean by social pressure, and that leads to overspending, because for all you know, you may not need it. The fact that your neighbor or your friend, your colleague at work drives some kind of car does not mean you got to drive a similar car. As a matter of fact, sometimes they should tell you that you shouldn't, because they should tell you how much they are paying if they are honest to do that. But that is a key thing where people fall victims. They spend because somebody else they know is spending. They are buying that particular utility vehicle. They are buying that particular house. You could live in a 2-bedroom house or apartment, but because your peers have bought, they got a 4-bedroom house, you go and buy a 4-bedroom only because you want to be in the social, same social stature. So that is huge. And I'll leave Gifted to say something to that and bring out what the Joneses would say.
Yeah, so it's also means keeping up with the Joneses. You know, you look across your aisle, you see that everybody, like you said, is driving this expensive car. For all that you know, the car that they are driving, they did not really use their money to buy. Maybe they are car dealers
My goodness.
and they are just changing cars. If you want to keep up, then you have to also change your car every year or every 2 years.
They got to keep up with the Joneses, man.
You don't want to keep up with the Joneses. You have to live within your means. We also go to church, right? Almost every Sunday, you want to wear something new because you're competing. You know, you are keeping up and you are going to spend money that you do not have. You know, if somebody is doing this, you have to cut your coat according to what your cloth. If you don't have enough, you don't have to show off to anybody. You know, it's better to be financially stable than to look rich and be broke. Somebody asked this question and said, do you want to look rich or you want to be rich? I want to be rich. I don't want to look rich because I'm not showing off to anybody. If you show off and you come home and creditors are coming after you, you are the only one suffering, right? So you have to spend according to what you are getting. Somebody said that if you are going to fly and you can purchase the first class ticket, it's okay. At the end of the day, you are going to get to your destination.
Same time.
Yeah. So if somebody is in the first class and if you can afford it, that's fine. But if you cannot afford it, for all that you know, the person is on business trip and the business is spending that money for them. So why are you worried that you cannot afford that? So don't put pressure on yourself. Don't be anxious because other people are doing certain things. If you cannot afford it, you just do what you can afford so that you don't end up overspending, spending money that you do not have. So don't keep up with the Joneses. They are broke.
My goodness.
For all that you know, they are broke just like you. So don't put yourself in that situation.
And even if they are not broke, like you said, cut your coat according to
your size.
Your size. If you don't have that money and they have saved that money somewhere and they bought that thing that they have, whether it's a home, whether it's a dress, whether it's a car, whether it's whatever it is that they have, you don't necessarily have to keep up with them. You know, you don't necessarily have to keep up with them. You keep up with yourself and be grateful for what you have. Now, if you do that, you are going to be more comfortable rather than to say that, hey, I got all these neighbors I have, everybody drives this, so I actually downgraded my car after my neighbors moved in the neighborhood. Yeah, right? I was driving a Beamer and they came, not many were driving any such expensive cars. I'm like, why am I doing this? I traded my Beamer back down, you know? So definitely do not keep up with any Joneses in your life. My goodness. Your Joneses may be, like she said, a church, you know, you go to, or your work, your place of work, you know, the way people are showing off and doing stuff. Your Joneses may be, you know, your friends, you know, especially the women do that. Not that, you know, gifting is not one of them, but the women usually do that. You know, you see this friend of mine, the husband bought this for them. Well, the husband bought it for them. They didn't tell you how they got that money to buy that thing for them. So don't put undue pressures on the husband. Oh my goodness, husbands of the life. Come on, put on something on the comment section. Don't put an undue pressure on your hubby just because, you know, your friend's husband bought a car for them on their birthday. You know how long it took them to save that money up? And you say, you know, I'm going to do the same thing. And you go and you lease or you finance and you stuck with, you know, huge sums of money to pay those car payments that you had not planned for. All because the Joneses, you know, bought a car for their wives.
And with the young ones, when they are going to get married, you know, they set the standard to the point that they cannot afford it. But they just want to let people know that they are also having this special wedding and they are ready to spend 50,000, 100,000. For what?
For what?
For what?
For 2
just
hours
to keep
and it's
up
over.
with the Joneses?
Just to keep up with the Joneses. The previous wedding, they want to beat down the previous wedding in the church, you know. They want to show everybody that They too, they saved up for their wedding. And then after the wedding is over, that is when you see problems coming down. If you had taken time to do what you got to do, you would find out that it wasn't even necessary for you to do
Necessary.
that,
Yeah.
because what matters is the life you live
Mm-hmm.
itself and the comfort you have with your life that you live. Because if you don't have comfortable life, trust me, you are going to be miserable. And many people end up uh, in the life what that beats them down because of the social pressures
Pressures.
that we are talking about. So don't overspend because of the Joneses in your life, whether at work, church, your work, wherever it is,
Your
your
old
neighbors,
old
your
students
old students
association,
associations.
you know,
They show off
alma
all their,
mater.
I'm doing this, I'm doing that,
Mhm.
and then you begin to mount up pressure and do what you cannot afford. That is not something we encourage. All right, so in the interest of time, let's move on. What is the next one that causes overspending? The next one is advertising and marketing. That is huge. You want to
That's
start with that
huge.
too?
That's huge. So sometimes I work in a retail, so I see this a lot. Like you finish one season and before you realize the whole store has changed to the coming season. So like Christmas just passed, right? After Christmas, the Valentine's Day, the whole store was changed to
Changed.
Valentine's Day. Then we have Easter coming. Then after Easter we have St. Patrick's Day and we have this. So almost every time the wherever we shop, they entice us with things, the things that we may not even need, but it's out there. And they are flashing it in our face. Come buy it. You may need that. You may need that. We don't need all that they are showing. It doesn't mean that every season we have to change our jackets. The jackets that we bought last year for winter is still usable. Why do you go and spend because it's on sale? So they advertise things almost season after season after season. Those of us in United States, so the season changes. So if you are not careful, every season there is something to buy. Every occasion there is something to buy. If you go back to your closet, forget even things that you've bought for the previous season. For all that you know, you went through summer last year, so it's likely that you have summer clothes. It's likely that you have winter clothes. Why do you want to replace everything? Because they are advertising it. They are promoting the sales, 25% off, 50% off. So a lot of advertisement out there. You have to know your budget. You have to be financially educated so that you know what you want and what you need. If you don't need it, you don't want it.
If you don't need it, you don't want it, and you don't get it, right?
You don't get it.
You don't get it.
Yes.
Good, 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 good. That is huge. Now, I will also add a little bit to it, and we're saying advertise. These days, the advertisements, they are so cool, and the marketing people have a way of getting you to think that if you don't get it now, you are never going to get it.
Again.
Man, what talk about buy one get one off? Honey, you think this is buy one get one whole one off?
And sometimes one free.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Buy one get one free. Yes,
Okay.
that's what I meant. And then buy one get
Half
half
off.
off. They call it BOGO 50. When I see it on my text message, some of the stores we shop, when I see it on my text my cell phone, you sometimes hey, let me go check this out. These suits is buy one get one free or buy one get one off, and they make it so BOGO 50. My goodness. So if you are not grounded with the budget, if you are not somebody who can say no, then you are going to overspend because the advertising and the marketing strategies they are using, it's so catchy. And when they show it on TV, oh man, they will make you feel like you really need this. Sometimes they will say that as much as more of what I've seen some commercials that say that we actually going to give it for you to try it for free. Just pay us free shipping. Just pay us the shipping and handling. My goodness, who doesn't want that? Just pay us the shipping and handling, and we are going to send one for you to try it for free. If you don't want it, just send it back. Money back guaranteed. And they trap you. And before you know, you are buying stuff that you don't need. So you definitely have to make sure that you are not limiting yourself or compounding debt compounding debt just because of all those advertising and the marketing strategies that people use. You got to have a sense of direction, for you to be able to decipher what you actually should follow through. If it is sales that is going on and you don't need anything, forget it. It is still going to chew up your money or your credit card, whatever it is you're going to use to buy. So if I don't need it, you can give me to me for free. Not get one free, because if I'm getting one, I'm still spending, right? But if you are saying that get it for free, no shipping and handling, then I'll get it.
Really
Right?
free.
Then it's really free. But as I was told, as soon as I got here, that in the US there ain't nothing for free. Nothing is for free in the United States, and I'm pretty sure it's everywhere, because somebody used their money to produce it. You think they're going to give it to you for free? No, they got to at least make up their cost. And if you are not going to need to use that thing, just forget it and let it pass. All right, ladies, let it pass. This is where the ladies are.
Yeah, and sometimes too, they make you feel like that's it. If you miss the sale, that's it.
It's not going to happen
It's
again.
not true.
Yes.
The sales will keep coming. So if you don't have the money and you are budgeting and you know that you are going to have it next month or in 2 months' time, don't force yourself to put it on a credit card. The credit card the interest rate is going to come in. And you are going to spend more money. If you had waited, maybe you would have spent only $200. But because you put it on the credit card, the interest rate has made you buy it for what? $250 because you couldn't wait.
My goodness.
So don't fall for this advertisement and the sales and this is on sale. Otherwise, you will continue to remain in debt. You will never come out of debt because the sales are not going to stop.
They're not
They will
going to
keep
stop.
coming. Every season, every time, there will be sales going on. So don't fall for the idea that if I miss this sale, that it's it for me.
No, the sales never end.
Yeah.
If you miss it this Christmas, if next Christmas you need it, just wait till next Christmas. You buy it
You
that
buy
time.
it.
Because trust me, Black Friday is good. There's always going to be a Black Friday. In fact, they are even making it more now. We have what? Cyber Monday and all those
online.
things. So if you don't need it, don't buy it now. Make sure you save up for it before you do it. Now let's see what else, unless you still have anything to add. All right. So those are the triggers. Oh, there's one last one. And that one is also huge. Using credit card. Pain of payment. My goodness, that's a huge trigger. And honey, I felt that before. You know what I'm saying? Got to be honest. I've gone through this trap before, and I'm pretty sure you have too.
Yes.
So let's explain that. What does that mean?
Using credit cards. So like if you go to bank, and you withdraw $500, if you look at that $500, it looks like a lot of money. So when you are going shopping using cash to pay, you know that you have only $500 to spend. And sometimes even giving it away, it hurt a little bit, But if your money is on the plastic and you are spending, sometimes you don't even check the total. You just sign and just think that it's just on the card. You just swipe it. You don't really feel the pain. So because you don't feel the pain, using it is no problem, because you can just overspend. If in my account, I have only $200 and the credit card has $5,000 for me to use. If I use my account, I can't afford it. So I'll be very careful in what I'm buying. But if it's on the card, I don't feel the pain because I don't see the money. I just swipe it. So this has made people fall into this debt because they don't feel like it's money. End of the day, you are going to use your money to pay it off.
It's still money.
It's still money.
It's
so
still
if
money.
you see it this way, you'll be careful in how much you spend.
My goodness, my goodness. That's the pain. So we avoid the pain by using credit card. You think that, as far as I'm swiping, I am good. Why should I bother so much about this? After all, it's a card. You know what I'm saying? Let me just swipe this thing and I'm good. You swipe it and you don't feel the pain. Like Gifty said, if you had drawn cash from the bank and then when you drew it from your ATM machine, it gave you the receipt of your
balance.
How much money is left in the account, and you went out to shop because it's the cash. Some of the things you will not buy because you feel the pain. That's what we are getting at here. You feel the pain because it will prevent you from doing unnecessary shopping. But because we don't want to feel the pain, we go with a credit card, and because we are doing with a credit card, we end up buying more than we need. As a matter of fact, we buy what we don't need, and we end up being in debt, and that is a serious thing. We end up being in debt because we avoid the pain of paying with cash or check, for that matter, and we use the credit card, which suits us, makes us think that, oh, the money is not going to go from my
Yeah.
account. I'll pay it later. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to take my time and pay it off. Even if I take 6 months to pay, I won't feel it. Well, you are still going to be paying interest, and it's still going to stretch your budget. And hey, newsflash, it's still going to come out from that bank account. It's still going to come. It's going to come from that account, and you don't want that to happen to you. So the pain of using cash has made people stick to credit cards, and we are getting more debt. So if you want to avoid some of the common triggers, next time you go out to shop, take some cash
Wow.
and see how much you will spend. Take some cash.
Now you'd be too restricted.
You'll be restricted. You know what I'm saying? You'll be restricted. All right. So moving forward, we want to see. Now let's talk about see how we're doing it. We may have to do this show in 2 series because we are not anywhere close to finishing up. Maybe we'll see. So what is the link between debt and mental health? That is the next thing we want to talk about. What is the link? Now, there is 2 links, as a matter of fact. The first one is the impact of debt itself on our mental health. Remember, we are doing debt psychology, right? The impact of debt, the impact of having a huge debt on your mental health. And then there's another one, which is the impact of mental health on your acquisition of debt, making you more debt because you have some mental health issues. But let's start with the impact of debt on your mental health. How can debt affect your mental health? The first one is debt or huge debt, credit card and other debt can bring you stress and anxiety. You want to explain that a little bit?
Stress and anxiety. So if you know that you are so much in debt, and I think the stress and the anxiety will kick in if you lose your job, because you're living paycheck to paycheck. And because you're living paycheck to paycheck and maybe you are fired, the stress that will come on you will be so huge. And the anxiety that, oh my God, I'm going to lose my house. Oh my God, I'm going to lose my car. Oh my God, I'm going to be homeless. That thing is so much on you that it will make you very stressful and it will make you very anxious. So the impact of debt on your mental health is huge.
It's huge.
It can cause you to be very stressed. And we know stress can lead to a lot of health conditions, health situations. Some people even have stroke
Yes.
right away because of the stress level. The intensity of the stress is so much. So you don't want to get yourself in that situation that you are so stressful in life. Everything annoys you. And everything, it can lead to panic attack
Yes.
when you are that anxious. So stress and anxiety is really real if you are so much in debt.
Definitely. And we don't want to end up in that way. Stress, I mean, you were even saying that in case you lose your job, some people, even without losing the job, they are stressed about how much they have. They cannot imagine how their pay can help them, to basically pay off all the debt that you already have. And, we did 2 shows. The 2 shows before this one, we talked about how to manage and pay off all your debt. So please, if you are watching and you are in debt, you didn't see those shows, after this show, let's finish this show before we leave. After this show, go back to the channel and watch the 2 shows that we did. The first one is using the debt roll-up method, eliminating your debt using the debt roll-up method. The second show is using the avalanche and debt consolidation methods to eliminate your debt. You can do it. We don't want you to feel trapped. We don't want you to feel like there's no way out. Yes, there is a way. The earlier you started, the better. And we have tools there on the channel. Just watch those videos and carefully go through the methods. Just pick up a piece of pen and paper, write down the steps, It is not a rocket science. You can do it. And I know if you are watching us this day, I believe in you. Trust me. I trust in you. And if you are watching, please, because this is so dear to our hearts, because people have ended up with so much anxiety, fearing how they are going to be. Like you said, in case they lose their job, people even committed suicide. Some people have died because of the stress that they had as a result of their debt. So it's something that is dear to our hearts. We are a life and health channel. We don't want you to hit the rock bottom. And the way to avoid it is to start now and overcome. So share the stream. If you know somebody who is dealing with debt, send them the link. Just click it and share to them. Don't tell them anything. Just share it to them. Let them tell them, hey, buddy, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I find some useful information. Let them watch the shows there and see. There are also other things we are going to share as to how to get around with these things. But definitely, debt can lead to stress and anxiety. And it doesn't matter how big the debt, depends on your coping level. Some people, small debt will make them anxious big time. Some people too, they will be owning $2 million and it doesn't it doesn't move them. They don't care. I mean, it's debt, If I'm here, I'm going to pay it. And then, but everybody is different. Some people cannot stand it. And if you are the person that cannot stand it, these are some of the things you can do.
Sometimes to the debt collectors.
The debt collectors
they
can
will
stress
call
you out
you
more.
and call you and hit your credit report. All that is going through your head because you are not able to pay your debt on time. And they'll keep calling you. If you see anything, any strange call, you're not picking up.
Yeah. And that means that if it comes to the point where debt collectors are calling you, that definitely means that you are in trouble. That is where you really need help. And definitely, we are going to stay to the end of the show. We're going to show you how to deal with some of the troubles that you face with debt. But definitely stress and anxiety for that. The other thing is poor sleep. If you are in debt, you may not get a good night's sleep. Oh my goodness, that is sad. Yeah, and it is real. It is real. It's not like an ambiguous thing we are talking about. Debt can make you have poor sleep because you'll be going to bed thinking about it and you cannot sleep. So financial stress, including debt, can also impact an individual's ability to sleep, leading to insomnia, and also other sleep disturbances. So I don't know if you have sleep disturbance because you are in debt. This may be something we were talking about. But if not, we just don't want you to continue to be in any situation that can lead to that. I don't know if you want to add anything to it.
Let's go.
All right. So in that case, we will move to the next one. And the next one is depression. Debt can also lead to depression. So this is how debt is affecting your mental health. The credit card debt, bank debt, mortgage debt, car debt, if you are not managing it properly, it can also lead to depression. And this is one of the examples we said that some people have taken their lives because they didn't see any way out of the debt, especially people who were making millions and all of a sudden they're losing everything. Because the Joneses,
they are keeping up.
because they are trying to keep up with the Joneses, they rather die rather than to have their neighbors or their Joneses around them see that they are in debt. Who are you competing with? Let them see you go destitute and talk to yourself that you're going to rise back again. That is when you are saying that, yes, you are a man or you're a woman. But taking your life because of debt is not good. And again, if you are living in the sight of people, trying to please people, that is when it gets to the place where we call serious depression. You will feel trapped. You feel like there's no way out of the situation, but there is always a way out. There is always a way. Where there is a will, there is what? My goodness. So never take your life because of debt. I don't know if you want to add
the feeling of hopelessness. You just don't have even the edge to wake up in the morning. You are so down. That's when you have to start seeking help, because if you start feeling that way because of your debts, then it may lead to something that you may not like. So the feeling of hopelessness, you feel so helpless and hopeless that you have to do something about.
All right. Now, what is the link? Now, we said that this is where the first one is, that is where debt is actually making you have adverse events in your mental health. Now, what about mental health making you be in debt. Now, so that's what we say, impact of mental health on debt. Some people have also ended up in debt because of their mental health status. All right. And so somebody with a mental health status that is not appropriately managed, that is not treated, may end up being an impulse buyer. So if you are that person, you have never seen a psychiatrist, you have never seen any doctor, you haven't ever been evaluated for mental health, diseases or anything, but you see that you cannot stop anything you see, you are impulsively buying, you are impulsively purchasing and doing all such things that you come back and you're like, why did I even buy this? Maybe there's something going on there in your mental health. It may be depression, it may be anxiety, it may be PTSD, but definitely you are buying out of impulse because you are using that to treat your mental health disease that is untreated. So that is one. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, this is huge.
That's
So like if you go out there and you buy something, then you get home and you're like, why did I even buy this? You question yourself, why? I don't need this. I have almost three of the same kind already at home. Then, but something will make you want it again or spend money on something that you don't need at all. Then you have to reevaluate
your
that
mental health.
mental health, that maybe something is going on.
Something is not right. Now, the other thing is a mental health may also make you avoid responsibilities. So, because of an untreated mental health condition, you may not be responsible for your debt. So your debt, you continue to incur debt, right? Just because of a mental health condition, you are unable to basically stick to what your responsibilities are. So avoidance of good behavior due to a mental health condition. I know.
No, so like somebody may not even have mental health, but they just want to avoid responsibilities.
It's true.
Yeah, they just don't want to be responsible. They have debts, they have payment to make and all that. They just want to pretend that there is nothing out there. And they just manage their things anyhow. They get paid, they want to spend the money, forgetting that they have to pay their rent and all that. Then you can see that there is something off. You don't want to avoid your responsibilities. If you keep avoiding responsibilities, then you have to check yourself.
Yes. Now,
Something may be
the
happening.
thing with the mental health link is that there's something we call avoidance behavior. So if you have depression, that is an underlying depression or anxiety or any of those mental health challenges, there's a way that some people may avoid dealing with their financial issues because of the underlying condition. They avoid dealing or facing the debt that they have. So it is real. No, I'm not saying we're not going to use this show to diagnose you and say that because of that you have mental health problem. But we are saying that if you cannot control your expense,
Spending.
you know that there's something. You always say you don't need it, but right now if you go to your closet, it is full of everything under the earth, and yet you wear only a few. And yet when you go to the shop today, you will buy. There may be an underlying mental health condition that needs to be treated, because if you cannot, be responsible for certain things, then of course there is something that is causing that. And again, avoidance behavior, it's a trait from mental health disease, especially in depression. So people basically avoid dealing with their finances. So that means that their debt is continuing to increase, and yet they avoid sitting down to treat the issue, to deal with the debt, So that is an avoiding the responsibility, avoiding, what they have to do to overcome debt, intentionally or non-intentionally. But Gifty said, you don't have to have mental health disease to do that, which I agree. Some people out of sheer irresponsibility. But we'll give you that. We want to say that you are not that irresponsible. So if that thing is going on, then of course, my goodness. All right. So the next one then is, how are we going to manage this? So we are still on the impact of mental health on debt, right? Inability to manage finances may be another sign of mental health challenge. If you've tried, but then again, it's not just that you are avoiding, but you can't come to grasp with making, like the list that we made last week, debt roll up or debt avalanche or debt consolidation. You can't bring yourself to do that. You are unable to manage your finances. You are always fighting with your husband or fighting with your wife. There's no way you can sit down and do that. That may be a sign of mental health problem leading to debt. Yes, that is possible. It is possible. So it's not clear cut. But if you know yourself that, hey, I have tried, I can't sit myself down to do it. Maybe there is something underlying that is going on. So that is what we say. So impact of mental health on debt. So that can make you continue to be in debt. All right. So if we move forward, what is the role of self-esteem? And I like this area also very good, because most people are making all the expenses they have because of the lack, or well, it's definitely because of the lack of self-esteem, right? Let's go right there. So I'm going to start with that. Yeah. So long-term versus short-term goals. So people with low self-esteem, those people don't make goals. They have short-term goals, if they have any, and then they plan less, and then they also lack management because they don't believe in themselves. That is what low self-esteem means in the literal sense. People with low self-esteem cannot stick to anything like planning. They don't believe that they can do it, so they rather let things fall the way they may. I'll work and the money will come. Whatever we have, we eat. Whatever we don't have, we don't. And then they leave things to just be because they don't believe in themselves. They have low self-esteem. They don't plan. Of course, they think that they cannot achieve any financial success, so they give up. They don't manage because they don't think they can do it. And then they don't have any goals at all. But people with high self-esteem, people who esteem themselves better and high, they sit down and they're like, no, I cannot continue to be in this huge debt. I got to do something about it. And they believe that they can do it. And because of the high self-esteem, they will sit down either with a professional or with their spouse or whoever is involved with their finances and get the debt under control. So if your debt is not in control, check your self-esteem. Check your self-esteem. That could be one. Do you want to add anything or should we go on?
Let's go on.
All right. So that is one. The second one is negotiation.
No, with the self-esteem, I just want to add one. So if you have low self-esteem, it's also likely that you want to have something or maybe buy certain expensive things, to add to yourself
To make
so
you feel
that
better.
you feel that you are okay, because your esteem is so low that you feel like you can't measure up. So in order to feel measure up or feel like you are also somebody, you want to buy expensive things just to show people that you are somebody.
You too, you are there.
You have something. But if you have high esteem, you don't have to impress anybody, because in you know that you have something, you carry something, and that thing, you don't need to see something on me to value me, because the whatever I have in me that is valuable, you may not see it. Maybe some people that don't have maybe education, right? They feel like they have to have something
to show that they are making it in life.
Yes, and because of that, they are overspending. And like you see the rich people out there, they'll be wearing just a t-shirt. The rich people that we see here, they don't have to wear a suit and tie to make them feel like they are rich. They feel like the body itself, they feel like they are already rich, and they don't have to prove it to anybody. So their esteem is so high that they don't have to have anything attached to them for people to value them. So if we are spending, we are overspending or spending or adding something to ourselves. Just let's check our self-esteem. Is it low or is it high?
Is it low or is it high?
If it's low, work on yourself. You don't have to put something on yourself, like wear a designer thing for people to know that, oh, you are somebody.
You too, you came. My goodness, you too, you came. You too, you came. My goodness. Share the stream if you are watching. Please click to share and click the like button. We see some likes on the live, and we want to continue to see more. So if you are on the live, please share it and share the video with your friends, and let us all enjoy ourselves as we learn to become debt free and overcome poverty together. Yeah. So low self-esteem will do that to you. Very important. You don't want you know, because of low self-esteem, you are trying to buy all these things. You want to look some way because that is how you think people will value you. No, you are valuable in the sight of
Yes.
God. You are wonderfully and fearfully made. You
Yes.
know, I mean, it's good to wear the suit. You know, I want to be in the suit. You know, but if at some point I can't
Afford it.
afford it, I wouldn't have to buy it just because I want to look good for people to say that I'm looking good.
Oh,
I
you are
can,
rich.
or
Not to
for people,
look.
yes, for
Yes.
people to feel that I am rich. No, you don't need to prove anybody. You just be yourself. You know, just be decent, dress nicely. Somebody can wear one particular clothing to church or to work all the time. All they got to do is wash it as soon as they get home, wash and iron, and they do it. Just as long as you keep yourself clean, that's what matters. You don't need to impress anybody. Of course, if you are in a professional setting, you want to also dress professionally, but
Presentation
just
also
your
come.
presentation. We'll talk about that later in some other show, but definitely don't let self-esteem or what people will think about you lead you into
To
making
that.
certain decisions that will make you go in depth. Now, low self-esteem will get for when we go to the next one is negotiation, right? So for negotiation, people with high self-esteem negotiate. People without self-esteem or people with low self-esteem, they don't negotiate on deals. So somebody who believes in themselves, who have some sort of self-worth, when they are buying something, they try to get the best deal. People without high self-esteem or people with low self-esteem, they see something and they are dying for it. They think it's the best because they don't believe that they are worth more than whatever they are seeing. So they don't bargain. If it's a house, as long as they think they can qualify for the credit. Like, as for me, I've been qualified by the bank with 300,000 to buy. Oh my goodness, this is great. Well, newsflash, you could probably be qualified for 400,000. You know, so when you see a house listed for 300, don't say that because the bank has qualified you, you're going to spend all the 300. You can make a less or little something less than that offer that they, I mean, less than the listing price, you know, because you believe in yourself. You negotiate. Basically, that's what we're getting at. So if you have high self-esteem, you negotiate on your purchases and you end up spending less compared to somebody who has low self-esteem, who thinks everything is at the right price and they buy everything, you know, on credit, on whatever, they overspend because of low self-esteem. I don't know if you want to add
Let's go.
anything. All right. So because of time, we are going to move forward. Now, the next one is low self-esteem leads to impulse buying. We said impulse buying earlier, but apart from mental health challenge leading you to impulse buying, you may not have a mental health disease, all right, but you may end up buying impulsively because you have low self-esteem. And this ties into what Gifty said. Like you want to please people and all that. You don't believe in yourself. So everything you see is a go. You got to get that thing because you are impulsively trying to improve on the way you look. All right. All right. So don't leave. We are about to wrap up. So the last thing that we're going to talk about is having known all this, what are some of the benefits of seeking professional help? We need to seek professional help because without professional help, some of these things can continue to go on, and we can be in trouble. In fact, worse trouble. So, the first thing is to seek financial counseling. If you are going through any debt issues, some of the things we said in our last video, you have tried it before, it didn't work out. You've actually gone through debt consolidation and you are back to square one. You are still owing a lot. You know, you've probably done other things. You know, the debt roll up method, you've tried it, it didn't work out. You tried the avalanche method, it didn't work out. You tried everything under the sun, it's still not working out. This is the time for you to see a financial counselor, somebody that will be able professionally to help you overcome your debt. I don't know if you want to add anything. All right. So that is the first one. It's important to seek professional help through using financial counseling. The other one that we want to talk about is also to seek mental health. Most people have underlying mental health issues, but there seems to be some kind of a taboo around mental health,
Stigma.
a stigma around it. And so people don't want to admit that they are in depression. But if you watch this carefully and you listen to some of the things we said, you can tell if there's something going on. Having mental health disease doesn't make you any less human than anybody is. If somebody has the flu, it doesn't make them any less human. If somebody has Alzheimer's, it doesn't make them any less human. Disease is disease. And so make sure that you are evaluated for your mental health status just to see what you can benefit, because this is nothing like spiritual or anything. There are medications that you can take that will improve your outlook on life, make you feel joy, make you feel happy, make you love your life, make you be, overcome depression and all those anxiety that you go through all the time. And all it takes is to start by seeing someone with a mental health profession. You can talk to your own doctor. They can refer you to a psychiatrist or psychologist, depending on where they think you'll fit. And you can have a very good mental health evaluation and medications if necessary, and your life can turn around. You can overcome debt that way. So that is one thing that I want to add. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and also I'll add that a lot of marriages are in trouble because of financial problems and financial issues. So if you feel like your husband spent too much money or your wife is spending too much of your money, sometimes it can break up a marriage
My goodness.
if you are not able to manage your finances well. A lot of issue I keep hearing that most of marriages are breaking apart because of a lack of financial education, or one party will understand that one party is more like a saver and the other is a spender. Between you and I, who is the spender and who is the saver? I'm not sure.
Well, that's for
So
another show. Right?
So, if you feel like you are having problems, like we are saying, you can find a financial advisor, somebody that can counsel you, bring you to a point that there is understanding and you are able to manage your debts and manage your finances. If you feel like one party need help mentally, there is help out there. We can all seek help together, and together we can get over debt and be financially independent and
Financially
free.
independent. My goodness, my goodness. This is, I'm telling you, this is a show that I actually enjoy. And we want to say that if you watched it all the way to the end, thank you. Make sure you share it to other people, because this may be a life saving knowledge for somebody. Because we hear people commit suicide because of debt, but they don't know why, and we don't know why. People around don't know why. So share this. Don't let somebody, go through something alone and end up in a very dire situation. So share the stream with somebody, even though we are about to close up. And if you haven't watched the two shows before this one, about how to control, how to overcome your debt, how to eliminate debt. That's what we say. How to eliminate your debt using the debt roll-up method. How to eliminate your debt using the avalanche method and debt consolidation. I had a guest last week. It was superb. Make sure you watch those shows also, or share it with somebody who may benefit from it. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed on our YouTube channel. Make sure the Facebook, you are missing out on Facebook, because we have a series of videos on health, and of course all the live shows are also on our YouTube channel. So make sure you hit the subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. If you are not watching on YouTube, you go to YouTube and just type in at Dr. Rotin, or the @ DROTENG, and search, and you will see that it will pull up all our videos. Click on one. When you go in, click the subscribe, and then also click the bell button, so that anytime we post a video or we go on live, it will notify you that, hey, those guys are on there, and then you can come and we enjoy ourselves together. Now, if you have any comments, I don't see any comments yet, but if you have anything you want to share with us, we are still going to be looking out for them. Just share. If you're on Facebook, just make sure you allow your feed to be recognized by Ecamm Network or Ecamm Live. That's the software. It needs your permission before we can see your name and stuff like that. And make sure you do that so that we can see you when you send a comment. We will see your name. But even if that doesn't happen, as long as you see a comment or a question, we will be diligent to answer them as soon as we see it. So we're going to end here today. And from the Hortense, we say, Beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you and thanks
Thank
for
you
watching.
for watching.